Coming up on this edition of Carolina Insider, Vandy is in town this weekend for Carolina football, what the Gamecocks need to do to salvage their season, and out on the green, the reason one local pastime is suffering in the Midlands. But next, election season may be inspiring politicians to make new moves on abortion laws. Carolina Insider starts now. Hello, and welcome to this edition of Carolina Insider. I'm Mercy Myers. Our top story today, a high-speed rail line could be barreling through the state of South Carolina in the future. Plans were announced this week to connect two major cities in the southeast, taking people from Charlotte to Atlanta in as little as 2 hours. Transportation planners have 3 different routes that may cost anywhere from $2 to $15 billion. All would come through the Palmetto State, including Greenville and possibly Anderson. If you'd like to see the options, Georgia's Department of Transportation is taking public input on its website. And conflicting views on the future of South Carolina's proposed abortion laws will once again take center stage at the State House next week. The Senate Medical Affairs Committee will meet on Tuesday to discuss the fetal heartbeat bill. If passed, a woman could not legally get an abortion in the state after a fetus's heartbeat is detected. This is around the 6-week mark of a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. For young voters, abortion is an important issue going into election season.
I definitely think that abortion will sway my vote because I obviously want a representative that understands where I'm coming from my perspective and is willing to take that into consideration.
As Columbia starts thinking about candidates for the general election, the outcome of the heartbeat bill will be one to watch. Columbia golfers may have to find another course to call home. Carolina Insider's Jacob Sloan explains why some local golf courses are struggling to stay in business.
747. Good shot, Leon.
Great golf, great views, and a great time. The folks who play here at Blythewood Country Club are excited to see all the changes they've made to the course in recent weeks.
We've put in all new greens. We're focused on the future here.
The problem is, it costs a lot of money and takes a lot of members to keep a course like this up. According to the club's general manager, 1,700 homes are in the surrounding neighborhoods, but only 8% of residents are members.
A lot of courses are closing, and we debated whether or not we would close and maybe do the development thing on the golf course property.
In fact, that development thing just happened here at the Golf Club of South Carolina, which is also in Blythewood. The Richland County Council recently approved the rezoning of this land for family housing. Without a doubt, high-end housing is in high demand in Northeast Columbia. Here at Long Creek Plantation, foundations for new homes are being laid surrounding the course. Hoping to take advantage of that growth, the golf club's management brought in a group to improve the course, but those plans fell through and now they're looking for investors.
This Pete Dye design course is really a kind of a Picasso. I mean, it's a very special design. And the thought of taking a great painting like that and throwing it away or destroying it or whatever was hard to stand.
Fred Lehman is a regular here and hopes his favorite course doesn't fall victim to the same problem as the Golf Club of South Carolina.
You know, we have nothing to do with the housing market. You know, we have plenty of acreage to build houses on. We're a golf course.
A golf course that players here hope will stay up to par.
I give him the shooter McGavin it without looking.
Oh, come on! For Carolina Insider, I'm Jacob Sloan.
Gamecock football has suffered 2 painful losses in the last few weeks, but South Carolina has a familiar message to keep moving forward as they take on Vandy this weekend. Here with today's Garnet Report is Will Rioux. Will?
Thanks, Mercy. Coach Muschamp and company look to right the ship in this weekend's matchup against the Commodores. After falling 41-21 to Tennessee last weekend, South Carolina needs to find a way to avoid their 3rd loss in a row. The keys to this weekend's game will be in the rushing game. The Gamecocks posted only 78 yards on the ground last week against the Vols after averaging nearly 182 per game this season. Running back Rico Dottle's knee injury is part of the reason South Carolina had some struggles in the ground game. Muschamp says he will miss this week's game as well. He also says the defense needs to step up their efforts in the coverage after giving up 351 passing yards. USC has a record of 3-5 and is 5th in the SEC East Division, while Vandy is just 2-5 and checks in at last place. The game will kick off at 7:30 on the SEC Network, and ESPN gives USC an 88% chance to win this game. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Will. That's it for this edition of Carolina Insider, a student production here in the Kennedy Greenhouse Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.